There's what we say, and then there's what we don't. And often it's the unspoken that holds the most power. Welcome to the Unspoken Edge, a space where hidden dynamics, quiet tensions, and unacknowledged truths are named, held, and turned into grounded action. I'm Rachel Keck, coach, facilitator, and founder of Mosaic Collaborative. I work with visionary leaders who want growth that's sustainable, relational, and real. Here, we explore what's beneath the surface, the energy under leadership, the patterns, resistance, and the truth shaping how we lead and live. In every episode, we'll name what's missing, hold what's tense, and follow the thread to what's real. Because clarity creates traction, and legacy, it's not just what you leave behind, it's how you lead today. Let's begin. Hello, everyone. Today we get to talk to Joel Crampton. So Joel lovingly referred to us as EOS groupies when we were just getting ready to hit record. So I'm going to go with that. We're in Kansas City. We've seen each other in person at Mike Waller's energy meeting. We've been at different EOS things. We are EOS adjacent. We love EOS companies. We dabble. I know Eileen visionary, but I have to be the visionary integrator for my own business. And you probably do too. Joel is a fractional chief marketing officer. So Joel, tell everybody who you are, what you want them to know about what you do.
Yeah, I think that should be on my business card is EOS groupie. And I've been in companies that work with EOS, and I've seen the power that that system has, especially with those small, medium-sized businesses that are growing and trying to mature in their operations. So that's why I've always gravitated towards it. But you're right, as a solo entrepreneur, you have to wear all the hats. So it's the visionary, it's the integrator. But I think the role that I'm in now as a fractional marketing leader is more of an implementer. So that's the biggest thing that I run into with firms that I'm trying to help, that they may have all these grand ideas. They have, usually it's a visionary that's leading the firm. And I work primarily with financial advisors, wealth management firms, RIAs, registered investment advisors. So anybody really in that financial services space. And so a lot of the founders of those firms are visionaries, big idea people. And with the advent of AI, it's very easy to come up with 1,000 different things that you can do from a marketing perspective to grow your business. And so that visionary is on steroids now because of all the ideas that they can now give to their marketing person, say, hey, we want to do all this. And so it takes a real expert to figure out which of those ideas we should implement, which ones have real legs, which ones we should table for the future, and then taking those ideas but actually executing on them. So implementing them, as they say in US. So that's the role that I take when I work with firms, is I work with the founder and the leadership teams to figure out how they're trying to grow their firms. And then I digest all the information and take my expertise and figure out, what does that marketing runway look like for the next 6 to 12 months? What are the different campaigns and strategies that we need to put in place to grow the firm? And then I then execute on those or implement those strategies.
Do you feel like naturally you are more a visionary or integrator?
Probably more of like the integrator, like someone who's I'm a doer. Like I love getting my hands dirty, and I think that's a little bit of a struggle for me to raise myself out of the weeds. So I do have to stay high level a lot of times when I'm working on the things for these firms. Otherwise, I get bogged down in all the minutia of the details and execution. And so I think that's where I'm trying to grow my own business, is to figure out what team can I put around me
Yeah.
to get those things executed upon, allow me to remain at that strategic level. Ultimately, the founders, the partners, principals, whoever's leading the company, they don't care how the sausage is made, they just want it made, right? And so I just say, well, this is how we're going to do the things. And they say, great, Joel, we'll talk to you next week. And then I come back next week and say, okay, we've done these 5 different things that we talked about. They don't care who did them.
Yeah.
They just want to make sure that they're done and done well.
I definitely feel like I lean in the visionary part because I can get so distracted with ideation, visions, and strategy, and then I'm spent. Nothing has been done, actually, just a lot of ideas. That's my struggle as a solopreneur is which and we can talk about AI and the gap that AI can step in and give me, okay, here's a strategy, because it will take me forever to figure out the steps. Then my energy drops off. One of the things that I really am curious about, because I definitely have found myself in fair share of like marketing projects or roles. I mean, I've landed mostly in smaller companies. So there's, you wear multiple hats. And so I've done my fair share of like taking a brand, understanding what that brand is, and then like trying to put us in a place where people find us and see us and people know us. I was telling you this when we were getting ready. One of the stories in my head is that marketing and authenticity don't really live well together. It's my own experience of like bringing authenticity into a brand and then having the people, the leaders, salespeople be like, whoa, we can't just the vulnerabilities of being authentic in the market. I'm curious for you, especially in professional services and financial management, is it possible to have authentic marketing? Number one.
It's absolutely possible. Maybe what you're thinking about from a marketing standpoint is mass marketing, marketing to the masses. And in doing so, it's hard for you or your firm to create a message that resonates with one particular person or audience. Is that kind of what you're feeling?
Interesting. Yes, I think that is true. There has been a lot of how do we throw a wide net?
Yeah.
It is really hard to get super specific on who you're talking to. Fear of losing out, missing out on
Yeah.
the business. There is a component of it that's like, okay, how do we spread the widest nets,
Mhm.
but have it be personal?
The personal aspect of business is becoming even more imperative
Yeah.
because of AI and technology and people are just inundated with all kinds of messaging. Like they just want to connect human to human,
Yeah.
learn your story. In the business that I work with in financial services, it's all about trust.
Hmm.
And people have to trust that the person that they're investing with is an honorable person. They believe their story. They relate well to their values. Leading with authenticity is paramount to anything from a marketing standpoint, especially when the message is coming directly from the person, the face of the company. And I encourage them to get comfortable on video. I mean, that's the one of the easiest ways to develop trust and connection with people is through we're humans are hardwired to be visual and we take in all the cues, visual, audio. So in our disconnected world, video has just become so powerful, and that's why you see TikTok and YouTube and all these other channels and platforms become so popular is people just want to relate to people. And so I think that that's definitely an area we want to maintain a large focus in. The other thing with AI is people are starting to get tired of AI slop and
Hmm.
computer generated things. You can certainly use AI in your businesses to help you scale and become more efficient. When you're writing LinkedIn posts or emails, you can use AI to create that copy, but it has to be written in your voice. And I can train some of these AI tools to write like you, but people are really adept at picking out nuances of communications that they feel are inauthentic. So keeping that at the forefront of your mind when you are creating marketing strategies and making sure you don't lose sight of those values. So if
Yeah.
that'd be advice that I would give to any business, whether they're big or small or in financial services or not.
You mentioned the trust gap, which I think about a lot. Both of our work requires us to quickly close the trust gap. Almost anything you do, it's ideal to close that trust gap pretty quickly.
Are you referencing a book by Corey Shear written?
Well, no, but Corey
Okay.
Scheer is an awesome trust. He's so good at describing that. As a coach and consultant, people are going to hire you only if they trust you. We talked it before we started about how, how we get the clients we get. And mine is all primarily referrals. I found just like you're saying, even doing a podcast like this or um, you know, if somebody can hear me have a conversation and It's building a sense of trust with them. They feel like they know me. That's why I wrote a book, because I felt like, "Okay, let me put myself out there vulnerably, and then you sorta know who I am." I think about that a lot because of the work that I do and how I experience people. What do you think gets in our way of closing the trust gap well?
I think what what increases that gap, inauthentic, uninspired, plain
Mm,
vanilla marketing tactics that anybody could write. That's a big problem that financial advisors that I work with have issue with is everything they're saying in their marketing could be said by 100,000 other financial advisors in the United States. There's 300,000 of them in the US, and a lot of them are saying the exact same things. One of the tips that I say to the firms that want to potentially work with me is go to your website, cover your logo on your website, and does that sound like 100,000 other firms out there? If it does, then you probably need to change your website.
yeah.
It's easier said than done, but just
Mm,
viewing your company through the lens of your prospective client. So being empathetic to their journey. I also wrote a book along the same lines is helping close that trust gap by understanding the psychology that customers and prospective clients go through in that journey leading up to working with you and then becoming a raving advocate of your firm. Circling back to the things that you're doing for your marketing, or the things that I'm doing for my firm, wrote a book, we're doing a podcast, we're posting on socials. Those are all things that we know help people trust us better. So then when I'm talking to firms that I'm trying to help with the marketing, I recommend those exact same things. I mean, not everybody has to create a podcast or write a book, but those types of things, put yourself out there, show people the real you. The posts that get the most engagement and interaction on social channels like LinkedIn, Facebook, they're posts of just the person showing them in everyday life, the things that they're interested. If you are into cars and you go to a car show, post about that.
yeah.
They may have nothing to do about your business, but it's just shows your personality, shows you're a real human. It's not this scripted corporate marketing that I think people are inundated with now. They're just tired of all of it. There's so much noise in that space. So just those authentic things that AI can't replicate
Yeah.
because that's the authentic you. So that would be advice that I would encourage everybody to use, including you and me.
It seems there is a line. I mean, I'm Gen X. It was you came to work, you kinda had a split, you had your professional self and then your personal self, and we're definitely evolving beyond that. COVID was a quantum leap, becoming real people at work,
Yeah.
which is wonderful. For a while there, we were having conversations around what actually is professional. I'm doing quotes, professional. What
Um,
feels appropriate and what feels like, okay, now you lost me. My 3 values are authenticity, integrity, and connection, because I think we can do authenticity in a way that actually is disconnecting. Well, I wonder, have you experienced that where it's like, I know you're trying to be authentic, but reel it in or back it up or wrong platform. Maybe it's
yeah.
just wrong
I
platform.
think the platform specific things, and there was a little bit of a bad rap with LinkedIn during COVID where people were
Mhm.
posting all kinds of crap and it ended up being like, this is not Facebook. Stop posting about
Yes, I
whatever.
remember that. I remember that time.
But I think people found a
Mm,
good balance. At least the people that are in my network on LinkedIn, I don't see much of that. I'm posting them going on walks and going to on vacation. Maybe the line is don't post your kids on LinkedIn unless you are comfortable doing that. If
yeah,
that turns some people off, then those aren't your people, which is fine. I mean, that's your authentic self and that's what you want to post about. Then the people that connect to that or that type of content resonates with them, they're going to be the people that follow you and they're the people that ultimately you want to work with. It's just finding a balance for you, what feels good to you personally, also for your business. But then to your point about the platform is be cognizant about the platform you're on. People are on LinkedIn. You don't want to turn everybody off. So be a little bit selective. I mean, try not to get into politics and those kinds of things. No one wants to read through this big long debate about you don't like this thing that this person did. Maybe shying away from the controversial topics on LinkedIn, certainly on Facebook. If you have your Facebook page, you can do whatever you want. But if it's connected to your business, again, use some discretion on what you post on there. So it's the same with every platform. I think it's just trial and error, trying to figure out what resonates with your audience, what feels good to you, and make sure that you stay true to yourself. When it comes to posting things, I always try to post things that I feel like people are interested in and might bring value to their lives versus self-promotional things. So again, it kind of goes back to who your audience is. These are all
Mhm.
social platforms, and so you want to ideally engage with people on these platforms. And I would just be cognizant of who's reading your material and if you think that's going to bring value to them. I always try to be a servant leadership, bring value add content to the conversation. Don't make it all about you. All these good words to live by.
What do you think is the hardest when you're doing your own marketing? Because self-promotion,
It's a little
I don't
uncomfortable
know.
sometimes because
Yeah,
we're especially in our society, we're taught to not be boastful. But the problem is that oftentimes, if you don't boast about yourself, nobody else is going to.
yeah, yeah,
And
to
and
be
in business, especially as solo entrepreneurs or small businesses, you're not winning tons of awards. You're not getting all kinds of national recognition. So you have to celebrate the wins when they come up. No one else is going to celebrate them unless you do it, usually.
what is your proudest marketing moment?
Proudest marketing moment.
Have you always been in marketing? Or did
I
you
had a whole career. Yeah. Yeah, ever since marketing 101 in college, I realized that that
You're
was
good.
the job for me. Well, it didn't help, or it helped that the professor, his name was Joel, so I already had a connection. I was like, and
Yeah.
he was fun and engaging and had good stories about his life in
Mhm.
corporate. So maybe the full circle moment for me actually was thinking back to that marketing 101 class, and the professor's name is Joel Poor at the University of Missouri. Sorry, all those KU grads out there who are listening. But when I ended up writing my book last year, one of my acknowledgments in the back was to Professor Poor and say, hey,
Mhm.
this book was somewhat dedicated to you because of your inspiration for me to get into marketing. Here I am 20 plus years later, and I've written a book on marketing. So I'd say that was probably my proudest accomplishment so far in marketing,
Mhm.
even though it's not a Amazon bestseller.
Yeah.
And Oprah hasn't picked it up yet, but I'm
Yet.
still proud of it.
I love that. It is interesting how our careers evolve and those moments. I think my book was a full circle moment for me. It was so vulnerable for me to put out
Hmm.
my own philosophies and thoughts around workplace culture and what I believed created great culture. Then
What's the name of your book?
everyone is not like you. So it's really what you're saying. It is showing up and being real and being our authentic selves, but being able to do that together can be challenging because we're not all the same people. Well, it's like the visionary and integrators, which is one of the reasons why I love EOS is there's roles, right? Everybody has
Mhm.
different strengths and we want to maximize the different strengths. And so how do we do that well? So and that's what I wondered too. We can't even hardly think 3 to 5 years out anymore because
Oh,
things are
I know it's
so
a big part of EOS is what's your 10-year plan?
I can't even. I
Yeah.
can't. I
And
don't even.
When I had Mike on on my podcast, Mike Walrod,
Mhm.
I think I challenged him with that as part of the EOS is to create your 10-year plan, but we can't even think 3 years down the road, like you're saying, Rachel, is
Yeah.
with AI and the pace of things changing, even 3 months. It's
It's
so
yeah.
crazy when you think about like Claude. No one had heard of Claude uh, 3 months ago.
Right.
Now that's all everybody could talk about.
I'm thinking about breaking up with Chat to go to Claude, and I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
even know I have an attachment to Chat. I don't know that I
Yeah.
can do.
Well, so
Yeah.
the advice there, Rachel, for when it comes to AI platforms like that, like Claude or ChatGPT
Mhm.
or Gemini or Perplexity or like Grok, they all have a unique skill set that
Mm.
they're good at. Some of it, but I think it's a race to the top. I think it's a race to become Amazon. That you've got one stop shop for everything. Amazon just used to sell books, and now it sells everything.
Yeah.
But then it's not just books that they, or it's not just stuff they sell. They've got their book publishing company, and they've got Amazon Web Services where they host, these big data centers. So I feel like that's the way those AI companies are trending towards because it's definitely becoming like ChatGPT. OpenAI was the leader. It had like 80% of market share
Yeah.
going into last year. and then Claude came about, and then it just annihilated OpenAI, ChatGPT's market share. So the advice I would give to everybody is try out the other platforms and see if you like them. But I find myself married to one,
I know.
and I'm a very loyal guy. And so I've stuck with ChatGPT ever since I started my business. And because it's learned me and knows me, it has all my projects in there.
Mhm.
I feel like I've trained it to write like me. And so I use it all day long. I absolutely will use Claude or Gemini or Perplexity or Manus or Gamma or all these other platforms out there because I know that they're really good at that one specific thing that they're kind of designed to do.
Mhm.
So I would say don't keep bouncing around one or the other because by the time you learn the new platform, your old platform has now leapfrogged over what the other one was doing. And that's the business they're in. When one company releases something, the next one is like working furiously to come up with something that's even better than that. And it's just
Mm.
the mental load, the switching back and forth between platforms. So
You
stick with one.
I was at an event last week and we were talking about AI, and I didn't realize how attached I was to Chat
Yeah.
GPT. And it can pull all sorts of things because it knows me over time. But what do you think? A lot of people are afraid of what AI is capable of, right? And you and I are no different. As a coach and a marketer, AI steps in for us. I mean, I use chat to coach me. I was doing that yesterday and it was profound. And I was like, dang, okay. With marketing too, it is doing some of our work for us
Uh-huh.
personally and the work that we offer clients. I mean, I have my own thoughts about that, but I'm curious for you. How have you worked through that about like what it's taking from you and what it's giving you?
I certainly couldn't be as efficient as I am now as a solo entrepreneur, only doing this by myself without AI. It absolutely brings so much more efficiency and productivity to the things that I am able to deliver for my clients just as a solo individual. There's been lots of talk about solo entrepreneur businesses that are billion-dollar companies.
Mm,
One person is the only human in that person. That company's worth $1 billion. All the other employees are AI agents that
mm,
are out doing all the work. It seems unfathomable, but there's so many businesses right now that are approaching that $1 billion mark and very quickly. There was one instance I heard just recently that a firm did cross that $1 billion valuation. It was just run by one person. It's just crazy. So there's tons of business with these AI tools. It's going to only accelerate
mm,
what solo entrepreneurs or small businesses are able to do. It kind of levels the playing field. Certainly, when you think about adoption of AI within your companies, a lot of these big firms are so hesitant to adopt AI technology for a lot of reasons because of the limitations certainly around security risks, but there's a lot of bureaucracy and red tape that they have to cut through to actually implement those and all the different systems that they have to try to get those AI tools integrated with. I think being small and flexible and nimble aligns very well with the AI tools that are being built and being brought into companies to become more efficient. I love AI. My kids hate AI.
I know my does too.
Which is so bizarre, but they also aren't running businesses, and so maybe
Mhm,
they have a different viewpoint. But Rachel, I was gonna circle back to something you were saying, oh, about you being the visionary. So you've got all these
mhm,
great ideas, and I
mhm,
think one of the coolest things about AI and especially Claude is giving visionaries the power and the tool to take that vision
mm.
and make it real for other
Yeah.
people. Because you can go into those to Claude or ChatGPT and say, "I've got this concept, like blah blah blah. I'm trying to feel out this vision," and then you're like, "Give me a graphical illustration of this," and it'll spit something out, and you're like, "Oh yeah, that's pretty close." It takes your vision and becomes reality. So that when you're trying to pass that vision and those ideas to somebody who's not a visionary, who's an actual implementer or integrator, they have a much better concept of what's in your brain. And so it makes that whole back and forth process between two people much more efficient because there's not a lot of you have this idea and you send it to this person and they're just trying to figure out maybe this is what Rachel was talking about. Let me just spend a couple days building something, and then you send it back to you and you're like, "Yeah, Joel, that's not exactly what I was thinking. How about this?" And so it's like this back and forth. Now you can get 80% of the way there with just your vision and what you want to put in. And put in place, and then send it to whoever's going to be executing on their vision. I think that again just makes it a lot more efficient. Does that sound like
Yeah.
a tool that
I completely agree. I feel like AI has definitely sharpened my communication. Not only my communication, but my output, taking ideas and making it something. I mean, it's just great at translating.
yeah.
Regardless of how integrated AI becomes in our lives, we're still going to have to navigate. Like, that still requires human navigation
Human in the loop.
because it doesn't really work unless there's human navigation. Like, who cares?
Otherwise, you just have two computers talking to each other.
And it doesn't really, I don't see how that matters. Are you afraid of it taking any parts of your job?
No, because I'm at this high level now. I'm doing the strategy. I go back and forth with ChatGPT and Claude all day long. Like, no, that's not correct. You're incorrect. And then it's like, oh yeah, you're right. I should have said this. Right. And I was like, yeah, I know. My 20 plus years of experience knows that you're wrong. And that's the thing, that these systems are still, as powerful they are, they're still infants. They're still learning. And that's scary to think, because just imagine what they have 20 years down the road with all of the experience that we have. Multiply that by gigabytes and terabytes and like it's just ridiculously how much better and improved it's going to be in 20 years or even 2 years.
Right.
So I'm certainly scared just for society in general of how much power it has. But for me and my job, I mean, I've got, let's say, 10 more years of working.
Mhm.
I don't think it's going to put me out of job in 10 years. I'm scared for my kids.
Yeah.
I think when they're talking about finding a career, I tell them to ask themselves if they think AI can take over that job.
Mhm.
And I think entry level marketers, entry level anybody
Yeah.
that are kind of those elementary tasks are just getting killed by AI. It's taken over all those entry level coding positions, paraplanners at attorney or law firms. I mean, anybody in that entry level, because
Yeah.
that's where those AI tools are at right now, and they're learning their capabilities. They're taking away all those repetitive tasks that humans would take hours and hours to work on, and they're just shrinking those down to minutes and minutes.
Mm.
Now, as those tools and systems get much more complex and smart, then they're going to just start chipping away at the rest of the jobs. So I think there's complete industries that are going to get wiped out. Uh, Manual jobs, you think, oh, AI can't do plumbing or roofing or whatever. Elon Musk would have something to say about that with the robots that he's creating, and the fact that he wants to produce 100,000 of them every month in the very near future. They're already all over Amazon's warehouses, taking those picker jobs.
Yeah.
So I don't know if any job is safe. I think at some point we're going to get to a universal basic income where we're all going to have to be paid a certain amount of money just to live. The ones that want to make more than that, they're going to have to innovate and come up with new ideas. But all those low level, entry level jobs, I mean, you think about McDonald's and the drive through that they have taking orders. I mean, just as like little pieces are being chipped away that humans used to do. And it's not just one industry, it's just every
Oh,
single industry. I can't think of a single one that hasn't been touched by some sort of AI tool, even the manual labor jobs.
mhm. It what I get excited thinking about is the space and capacity that opens up for humans to be innovative and do something different. It's such a huge shift in consciousness and how we think about things, and
Well,
but
the brain is a very efficient tool. It can operate. I just was listening to a podcast. It takes something like 15 watts to power your brain. And that same processing power for computer is like gigawatts. It's ridiculous
Yeah.
how efficient our brains are. So to your point, once we don't need our brain power to move this thing to this thing physically, all we are doing is the work that, strategic level people only can do. I think where we can shift our time as humans to things that only humans can do versus things that only robots or AIs can do. It's going to be a shift, and humans are very adaptable at changing conditions. I mean, you think about the printing press and the steam locomotive and all these other big interruptions in what humans used to be doing. Think back to computers. Those took away all the typist jobs out there. We're very adaptable as a species,
Yeah.
so I have no doubt that we'll adapt. It's just going to be a lot of short-term pain and people figuring out how to adjust.
Okay, so that I would love to close there. Just one, when you are thinking even the next 6 months in your business and for your clients, when it comes to marketing, what are you thinking about?
Well, gosh, there's so many. As much as everyone talks about AI and all this other technology, there are so many people that just aren't doing it.
Mm,
They don't have anything integrated into the business. Financial services historically has been very slow to adopt any sort of new technologies. The firms that are trying to grow, they're going to really need to implement some strategic marketing initiatives to and compete against the firms that are implementing technological solutions to expand their market. There's going to be a lot of small, tiny players, and maybe that's fine for them. They just want to have a lifestyle business that provides them that kind of universal basic income that they want. But the firms that are trying to grow, they have to stay competitive, and to do that, they have to implement the tools and technologies that are available at their fingertips. And right now, that's AI. So trying to figure out how to incorporate little pieces into your workflow, figuring out where there's repetitive processes or tasks that you can shift off to these systems or these AI agents. And then whatever's left over, that free time, you use that free time to build new strategies. And then you pass that work off to the AI tools. It's kind of this constant back and forth that you have to think through, again, more strategically and figure out how to take your business to the next level using the tools and technology that are available today. Be afraid of them. Try out the new technology tools, see what resonates with you, see how it feels to you. If it's scary, just keep pushing through. Everything is a little bit scary when it's new. There's no better time to plant a tree than today. So plant that seed in your business, watch it grow. It's going to evolve over time as you shift your business to be more open to new ways of thinking and new tools. That's only going to accelerate your business.
Joel, how can people find you if somebody's like, I gotta have this guy?
Yeah. Well, I'm a marketer, so hopefully you can find me just organically by searching on Google and AI. I do have clients come to me and say, "Oh, I found you on Claude or ChatGPT, or I found you on Google." If people want to contact me directly, they can find me on LinkedIn. I also have a podcast called CMOs Without Borders, where we talk about all types of marketing for financial services. I do have a book, just like you do, Rachel. It's called Trailblazing Growth, which talks about leading financial advisors through that journey that their clients are on and figure out how to optimize their marketing strategies and how they present their companies to make it as easy for that person to do business with them. So that book's out there on Amazon. Reach me at my website, cmoalpha.com. Rachel and I are good friends now, so you can contact her. She'll give you all my contact information, and I'll see people at the next EOS event that we are obviously groupies for.
That's right. Come along. Thanks,
Yeah.
Joel.
You're welcome.
Our guests bring such clarity and depth. If you want to explore more of their work, you'll find links in the show notes. And thank you, listener, for joining me on the Unspoken Edge, the place where we name what's missing so you can lead from what matters. If something resonated with you today, share this episode with a friend or a colleague. Leave a review or subscribe so you don't miss what's next. And if you're navigating unseen tensions in your leadership or culture, let's connect. You'll find me at mosaiccollaborative.com, because legacy isn't a final chapter. It's what you live into, one conversation at a time.